Hello, can everybody hear me all right? Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. It is, what's the date? I got to get that Superman curl working. What was that? How is that? We got it right? Is it like twisting right? It's hard to like do it in a camera because it like looks different. I think we're going to go this way, right? There we go. Yes. Boy, what's up? It is, what's today? Thursday, February 4th. It's a little after 5. It's about 5:20. It's 5:20 somewhere. Haha. No, that's not the time. Nobody says that. We're going to have Dr. Victoria Dooley on the show here in a second. Just want to remind everybody that YouTube has demonetized this channel. And so you cannot do the super chat. So please go on over to Rockfin where you can, Rockfin has a tip feature and I will answer your tips. After we get done talking to Dr. Dooley, we're going to, I will answer all those questions. You can also ask me questions. You can also ask me questions on Venmo, another great way to support the show, at Graham-Elwood. But yeah, I've been talking about it all week. Monday, they demonetized me for harmful content. I don't know what that means, but so if you're watching us here on StalinTube, I mean YouTube, it's we are living in an authoritarian state, folks. Isn't it exciting? But at least we get to shop online. So that's the freedoms we get to enjoy. And a bunch of shows have been demonetized this week. You know, this is the thing we talked about. Anyway, I am drinking a vegan smoothie. It's got unsweetened organic almond milk. It's got organic frozen mixed berries, organic power greens, frozen, of course, half an organic frozen banana, unsweetened organic peanut butter, and vegan protein powder. And I'm not just drinking something healthy because we're having a doctor on the show. I drink this every time. So it's not like normally I have like a Coca-Cola and then there's a doctor on, so I'm eating healthy. I always have vegan smoothies. That's why I look this good, you guys. I just turned 93 years old, and it's all because of vegan smoothies. So, also tweet this out, especially on the Rockfin side. And I really thank everybody who has jumped over to Rockfin. Really appreciate that. It's been a tumultuous couple of days, but the support and everybody rallying together has been awesome. I'm going to be on Katie Halper's show after this one. I'll end this show probably around 6:30-ish, 7 o'clock. I'll do about an hour and a half and then jump over to Katie Halper's show. But it's been nice. Isaiah Perez, thank you so much for supporting the show. Keep speaking truth on the Venmo. Thank you so much. J.M. Smith, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, Research Month. Right on. Right on. Okay. So let us bring on Dr. Victoria Dooley. Let's see if we can bring her on the show, everybody. Hello.
Hi, Graham.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Outstanding. Can everybody just in the chat give me a heads up if everybody can hear Dr. Dooley? Dr. Dooley, do you mind just talking real quick just so we
am Dr. Victoria Dooley. I am a practicing family medicine physician and a healthcare activist and former Bernie 2020 national surrogate.
Boom. That is how you do a sound check, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you do it. Awesome audio. Everybody's saying great. Well, that's perfect. So hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood. You're watching The Political Vigilante, and we are great to have back Dr. Victoria Dooley, who, as she just said, Bernie surrogate, doctor, big Medicare for All proponent. So I wanted to talk to you about two things. First, we're going to talk about the vaccine first, and then we'll talk about, if you have the time, what we need to do to get Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic. But before we get into that, so I get a lot of questions about the COVID vaccine, and I wanted to have you on the show because you're a physician, and I wanted, and I like and trust you, and I want to just give this information to my audience because some people have some concerns. I'll just give you a little back. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I was vaccinated as a kid with mumps, measles, whatever. I never get the flu vaccine. I've never gotten it because I just I'm healthy. I'll be fine. I let my immune system handle it. I firmly believe COVID is real. I've been wearing masks and all this stuff. I had some hesitation initially, maybe 6-7 months ago, because I'm like, man, this vaccine seems like they're rushing it really quickly, and it seems like it'd take longer to find a vaccine. And then I'm hearing, and you can obviously elaborate on this, since this is part of or a kind of connected to SARS. They've been researching this for 10 years, and then this is a new type of vaccine. So I feel a little less scared about it, but I still have some questions. And obviously I'm not going to get it because I'm not going to get the vaccine initially, because I will get it eventually, but I'm not in the group that's getting it offered. I won't be offered it. I should say, I won't be offered this until much later, because I'm not
younger and healthier.
And I have no pre-existing conditions. So explain to us what this vaccine is, what's in it, how it works.
Sure. I understand your hesitations, and I'm just going to say off the bat, I've gotten both doses of my vaccine. I was a little bit anxious about it, not because I thought it was going to put microchips in me or turn me into a zombie or anything like that, just because, you're right, it's a little bit new. You're getting this new vaccine. So, of course, I had a little bit of anxiety about it. Not so much anxiety that I didn't want it. And now that I've had both doses and I'm up to my 95% effectiveness, I'm feeling super happy and super excited, and a lot better than I was at the beginning of this pandemic. They talked about essential workers and how we're heroes, but then hospitals weren't giving enough personal protective equipment, PPE. Some essential healthcare workers were getting paid cuts instead of extra pandemic pay, so it was a mess. So as an essential worker, I really didn't feel appreciated. But when this vaccine came out, unfortunately, in the area where I live, I was really happy with the state and the healthcare system's rollout for healthcare providers, because I don't go into the hospital every day like some doctors. So I thought that I might be way down on the list. So they got it out quickly to the healthcare providers, and that's what made me feel appreciated. Like, finally, somebody sees us as essential. They're making sure that we are first in line to get this vaccine. So it took that to make me feel like an essential worker. And so, as you were briefly touching on, the technology for this vaccine is not brand new. It's not like just a year ago they said, oh, you know what, let's just come up with some new technology for a new vaccine. This is technology. The mRNA technology has been around for a long time. It's just that this pandemic brought about an opportunity and a sense of urgency that, hey, we can speed things up. Not we can speed things up because we've never had this technology before. We can speed things up because there's a need, a huge need. So that's why it moved fastly.
So just to clarify, it already existed, and when you said speed things up, meaning the testing and production of it was sped up because of
the testing and production and the approval process.
Okay.
But the technology was not something that they rushed to put together. The technology was just there. The red tape, the bureaucratic red tape as far as the trials and the approval process, that part was sped up. So you had the volunteers in the study who had the vaccine, and they had the data from that, right? And then people like you shouldn't have to worry that much, because people like me have been even more. You people want to say guinea pigs. We're not guinea pigs, but we had the people who were in the vaccine trials. These were people who should be admired, people that I'm thankful for, who signed up for these clinical trials and were part of these studies. And then you have the healthcare workers and essential workers who get the vaccine first. So by the time it comes to the younger, healthier people, there's going to be a ton of people, millions of people who have been vaccinated before them. So if people in your audience are similar to you, younger in age, they don't have a lot of pre-existing conditions, by the time it's their turn, there's going to be even more evidence and proof that it's a safe and effective vaccine. And I tease on social media sometimes. Two of my girlfriends kind of tease me, have you turned into a zombie yet? They think that the virus, the vaccine for the virus is going to start the zombie apocalypse. So I check in with them and say, hey, you know, I'm still here. Haven't eaten any brains today. So I just tease them. So, you know, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimistic. And it really was just like pretty much tons of other vaccines I've had. I didn't have a lot of huge symptoms afterward.
Okay. So that's good to know. And well, I have several. Well, first of all, so the fact that they, as you say, got rid of some of the roadblocks in terms of the approval process, did that give you, were you concerned about that? That maybe even they're rushing the trials too much? Or
I wasn't concerned in it that I felt like they were really intentionally giving us something that wasn't safe. Again, I had a little anxiety just because it's something that's new and everything has moved so fast, right?
Mhm.
We found this virus and all of a sudden, you know, we went on this shutdown. The governor of Michigan has been doing a ton of shutdowns, unlike some states. And so there was a shutdown, then we opened back up and then we shut down again. So everything has just been so new. This whole past year has been so new and traumatizing, right? For many people, because we have a government who's not doing anything for us. So just the stress of going through this stressful time. And hey, this is something that's new. Yeah, it gave me a little bit of anxiety. And I'm completely honest about that. But it didn't give me fear to the point where I felt like I was too scared to get it, or fear that I felt like this was some type of scam from the government or the pharmaceutical industry, some type of scam to put chips on us. So it wasn't fear, but it was anxiety, just like you would have anxiety about anything that's new and moving fast. But it wasn't based off of fear. It wasn't based off of I did not trust the trials. I did not trust the process. Yes, the process was moving faster than it usually does. Yeah, maybe a little bit anxious, but not so anxious that I didn't want to get the vaccine.
okay. And then what about too? I mean, there's obviously there's a history of the Black community being tested, given, you know, like
Yep.
used as awful guinea pigs. And so there's people that maybe and very justified in the Black community, like, whoa, wait a minute.
There's
We're
a
not.
lot of reasons for the Black community to be distrustful of the government, to be distrustful of the healthcare system, to be distrustful of the police, to basically be distrusting of everything. So I get that fear, but studies show time after time that Black patients have better health outcomes when they have a doctor that looks like them. And this is not to say that there's no white doctor that takes good care of Black patients. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that because of all this trust, because of implicit bias, things like the Black maternal mortality rate being 16 times higher than the white maternal mortality rate, the things like Henrietta Lacks stealing her cells and using her cells for experiments, Tuskegee instruments, the Tuskegee experiments, all these reasons that we have to be distrusting of the medical community are some of the reasons that we have to be distrusting just being Black in America, right? It's stressful. So when Black patients have a doctor that looks like them, it is easier for them to trust them and establish a good rapport with, and they do have better health outcomes. And what some of my patients are telling me of color, and it's not just all Black patients are fearful of the new corona vaccine, right? There's some white people, Black people, there's people of all races who are a little bit hesitant to get it. But what some of my patients of color who look like me are telling me is, because I don't have the vaccine available in my office right now, I don't know when I will or if I ever will, is that, doc, I trust you. If you get the vaccine, I trust you, but I want you to get it. I don't want to get it till you have it in your office and you can give it to me. And I understand that because I've established rapport with these people. When they bring up their concerns, and this is patients of all color, when they bring up their concerns about the vaccine, I address them in a non-condescending manner. And I validate it. You know, as a Black person, you have a right to be distrusting of X, Y, Z. And so when I talk to them, it's easier for them to relate because I'm living the experience that they are living being Black in America.
Right. Okay. What do you say now to some people who have said, you know, I was always in favor of vaccines, then my kids got vaccines and some of them have had health effects or they became autistic or whatever. What do you say to those folks? Not necessarily with the COVID vaccine, but are just have seen firsthand that some vaccines have caused serious health issues in their own kids who
There's
are
a
like,
couple things. You can't convince everybody. I'm pretty good at changing the minds of a lot of people who come in my office, and my medical assistant will ask them if they want a vaccine, and they'll say no, and she'll kind of jokingly say, they said they didn't want the vaccine, but you're probably going to change your mind, because I've learned how to be pretty convincing. But I've learned that I can't convince everybody, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. So everything in life is risk versus benefit, right? When you leave the house to go to work, you're risking that you may get in a car accident, get struck by lightning, get eaten by a zombie. You're taking this risk, right? But the benefit is you get to work and you get the money that you need to pay your bills to feed your family. So everything in life is risk versus benefit, just like in medicine. So I explained that there's nothing that you can do that's 100% safe, right? There's people who have toxic effects from taking over-the-counter acetaminophen or Tylenol. There's people who get in trouble because they're taking some herbal or cleanse. So nothing is without risk in life. And also, association does not equal cause. So that's why in medicine we like to practice evidence-based medicine and have a certain amount of data that meet some scientific standards, right? 100% of people, 100% of people who die drink water and breathe air. So can we just make a blanket statement that drinking water and breathing air kills you? Nobody should drink water and breathe air because it kills you. No, but 100% of people who drink water and breathe air will die eventually. So it's just because something is associated, if you have a side effect around the time of the vaccine, sometimes it is from the vaccine, but sometimes it's just coincidence. A great example, when you get the flu vaccine, I know you don't, but when people get the flu vaccine, when do we give the flu vaccine? We give it during flu season. Once you get the vaccine, it takes 2 weeks, 2 weeks for your body to develop the antibody and immune response, right? So we're vaccinating millions of people with the flu vaccine during the flu season. So there's going to be a ton of people who get sick within that 2-week window, right? Because we're vaccinating you within flu season. So you went to work, your coworker had the flu. That reminds you, you got to get to the doctor and get your flu shot. You get the flu shot the next day or a couple of days. Within that 2-week window, you get the flu. So you think it was because of the flu shot, right? Because it was associated. You had the flu shot. But no, the flu shot wasn't even effective yet because it takes 2 weeks. You would have gotten the flu even if you didn't get the flu vaccine. Mm-hmm. But because you got the flu vaccine, now in your mind, you think that the flu vaccine caused it. So I like to explain to people that association does not equal cause. And I don't like to, dismiss people's concern who personally know people who have had bad side effects from anything. But bad things happen to good people all the time. Viruses, just having a virus, not having the vaccine, can lead to horrible problems like Guillain-Barré with partial paralysis, Bell's palsy. Just having certain viruses can cause these things. So just because it happened around the time of a vaccine does not 100% mean that the vaccine caused a problem.
Okay, so let's talk about, I want to know more about how this RNA, was it RNA or mRNA? How is it?
mRNA, which is not the same as DNA. It is not changing your DNA. So yes, mRNA.
Explain to us what that is, this process, and how it's different from like a traditional vaccine.
Okay, so we have a lot of different vaccines. Some vaccines we have that are what we call live, which is you take the shingles or measles live particles and you kind of weaken it to make it less likely to give you the illness, but to make you have enough so that your body can build up antibodies. And then we have most of the vaccines, which are not live. We're not giving you any live flu. We're not giving you. So there's different vaccines now. Work kind of different. How this technology is new is, but this vaccine, it doesn't give you the whole, the whole coronavirus particle or whatever. It gives your body instructions on how to make antibodies to the spike protein. So the messenger RNA, the M stands for messenger, is giving your body a message, right? A message to say, hey, we need to produce this protein so that you can make antibodies to it, So when you get the real thing, you already have the antibodies. It is not doing anything to change your DNA. It is not DNA. It is basically instructions. It's a blueprint for your body to learn how to do the job to make the antibodies that you need when the real coronavirus comes. And the exciting thing about this mRNA technology and all the coronavirus vaccines that we have good data on right now, because there's a couple new ones, we're talking about mainly Pfizer and Moderna, which are the two that we're given right now, is that even though they have different degrees of preventing severe coronavirus, the mRNA ones are about 95% effective. Even the new one, the Johnson & Johnson one that has a different mechanism of action, even though it's not 95% effective, it's only one shot and it's more like 74% effective in the US. 0% of the people in the trial who got the vaccine have died. So getting the coronavirus is horrible. You're going to feel, I haven't had it, but I've known people who had it. You can have long COVID when you're sick for months, your hair's falling out, you're getting miserable. So getting coronavirus is horrible. But the key is, if you are unfortunate enough to get it, you don't want to die. So what I think is really cool and super exciting is, even though all these vaccines aren't all 100% effective or even 95% effective, the data we have so far says that nobody has died that's been fully vaccinated with these from coronavirus that's been fully vaccinated. And to me, that is super exciting. That's why we have to lock down cities and states, because too many people are sick and have to go to the hospital and they die and healthcare providers get burnt out. So even if some people still get coronavirus, but you're not getting so sick that you die, that's going to have huge ramifications for how we can keep things open and function as a society.
Right, because obviously, as you know, like in Los Angeles, that there was no hospital. The numbers just finally come down a little bit, but there was almost 2 months or so where there was no hospital beds. I mean, none.
Yeah.
And
I had a patient who was in California, and she said she went to an ER and they said everybody was a coronavirus patient. She was there for non-corona symptoms. They drew some blood. They didn't even give her the results. She said she didn't see a doctor. Somebody said, you know what, you're going to be here forever. If you want, you can just go home and we'll call you back if your results are abnormal, because the hospitals were so overwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The people that, don't understand or don't take the like social distancing measures seriously is it's like, okay, so just so you know, if you get in a car accident, fall down the stairs, have a stroke, a heart attack, the hospital's maxed out. They can't help you. I mean, that's what was happening in California, in LA. I mean, they were just like putting people in a gift shop. Like, it was nuts. Right. So that's why a vaccine, just people then they could still get sick from COVID, but it won't be so severe that they would need to go to the hospital.
Absolutely. And so that is huge. So we have the Pfizer, we have the Moderna. There's only so many doses that they can get us in so much time. Hopefully the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is going to be approved, and that's not the mRNA technology. What that uses is it uses a virus that is commonly people are exposed to. It's the virus that causes the common cold, an adenovirus. It uses the virus as like a vector to help your body make the antibodies to coronavirus. Okay, so they use a different virus other than coronavirus to train your body to make antibodies that will protect against coronavirus. And that vaccine is only going to be about 74% effective, which compared to the 95%, it seems like, well, I don't want the one that's 74% effective. I want the one that's 95% effective. But because there's such a shortage, you're not going to be able to pick and choose which coronavirus vaccine you're getting if you're in line to get it. You just got to take whatever they can give you. So if you are going to be somebody who gets the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, I think it is very exciting, even though it's not 95% effective. It's only one dose. So you won't have to go back in 3 or 4 weeks and get the second dose. And that so far with the data that we have, it's been 100% effective in keeping you out of the hospital and keeping you from dying, which is I think most people's hugest concern, right? You don't want to die from coronavirus. Of course, You don't want to get it, but if you do get it, you don't want you or your loved ones to die from it.
Oh, well, Dr. Dooley, this is so informative, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about this. My name is Graham Elwood. You're watching The Political Vigilante. I'm here with former Bernie Medicare for All surrogate, right? Isn't that what you're?
Yes, Bernie 2020 national surrogate and DNC delegate. That was first. But anyway, well, and Medicare for All activists.
Well, let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. So it seems almost insane to me that in the middle of a pandemic, we can't get Medicare for all. I mean, it's literally like, and Joe Biden could have done this on his first day of office using an executive order. He could have said COVID is a national emergency. That's already a fact. So the president is given broad powers when there's a national emergency. And he could say everybody gets Medicare for all. Mm-hmm. And so this is so frustrating. I was a big proponent of force the vote. I still am. And I'm bewildered why we can't get, I mean, I know it's money. I mean, I know it's like that's what it is. The big pharmaceutical companies, the healthcare lobbies, they're spending money on both parties to block this. And so what can we do? Because we were talking just earlier about the vaccine, and part of my, and you basically, you brought a lot of great information to us on the show about the vaccine. One of my concerns is, while like I said, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I was vaccinated as a kid. I don't trust these big pharmaceutical companies. That's why I was like worried they're rushing to the market, because they're just going to as long as we make bank, and we'll just sweep the lawsuits under the rug like we always do. And we're not held, so talk to us about why we still don't have Medicare for all and what we can do to get it. I mean, this is just like, what is going on?
I hear you. And I don't have all the answers. We have to keep having discussions like this. We have to keep demanding it. When we vote for a candidate who ran on a Medicare for all platform, we have to say, you know what? You need to be vocal and speak out and do what you need to do to pass this, or we're not going to vote for you next time. And I mean it. And we need more people who are progressive to run for something, honestly, because like I said, if the people who are running on Medicare for all aren't following through with what they promised, then we need somebody waiting to be ready to run next time. And we need to be ready with our $27 or $2 or whatever we have to support those candidates until we get enough people to vote for it. So it's super frustrating for me as a physician. As a doctor, the most common question I get asked in the office is, how much is this going to cost? And it's just like, that shouldn't even be a question that I'm ever asked. But of course, people ask about side effects and et cetera. But the most common question I get asked as a medical doctor is, how much is this going to cost? So that's just crazy. And then the crazy thing on top of that is, I don't know, because we have 11 different insurance companies, and each insurance company reimburses a different price. So I absolutely have no idea. If you don't know what your insurance covers, how am I, who have thousands of patients with hundreds of different insurance plans, supposed to know? So it's just heartbreaking to me that when people come to the doctor, that is their biggest and number one concern. And so, no, it's not going to be easy. And I understand we need people who don't have anything to lose to run an office. When you think about it, if you're not a career politician coming from a wealthy family, if you were just getting by day to day, making minimum wage or just a little bit above minimum wage, and you get this cushy job where you're making six figures, it's easy for you to kind of forget, well, I don't want to lose this little cushiness that I have right now. I've made it. So, I can't rock the boat too much, or I want to be in the same position that everybody else is. I want to go back to just scraping by and getting back day to day. And so I wish we have to get money out of politics. We have to, corporations should not be funding these candidates. The people should be funding them so that their only special interest is going to be us. But the way the system is set up right now is rigged. So how are we going to do that? I don't have all the answers. I do know as a nation, we need to be more vocal and more willing to, like I said, I honestly, Graham, don't understand how people are getting by. I'm in a position where fortunately I'm doing okay. And it would take a series of a huge amount of just a series of unfortunate events for me to end up, homeless or something. But for the average person that's not, they're just one unexpected bill away from homelessness. Fortunately, my parents have retired educators. They made some good decisions so that they could retire comfortably. My siblings, so I have a lot of people that I could call on, which a lot of people of color don't. That if something bad happened to me and I couldn't go to work anymore, something bad would have to happen to my mom and dad, my siblings. I'd have to have a whole bunch of bad things happen before I ended up, way in a horrible situation. But most people are just one unexpected bill away from being homeless or something catastrophic happening. And I honestly don't know why we're not in the streets every day. I just don't. I just don't get it. Why we're not out in the streets every day saying, look, we're sick and tired of you making us be sick and tired, because there is zero excuse. If you look at every other developed nation in the world that has some universal type of health program, it's not like we don't know how to do it. If we don't, just look at somebody else's model and just copy it exactly. But what we're advocating is something better that any other nation has, because we want to include mental health, we want to include dental, we want to include basically everything but plastic surgery, and maybe we can work on them for that, plastic surgery for all. But it's just inexcusable, and it's disgusting, and it physically makes me sick to the stomach when I think about what more would it take besides a pandemic for them to give us universal health care? Like what worse would have to happen? And what that worse is, I don't really want to be living through it if it's something worse than what's been going on in the past year. So it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing when they're like, well, forced to vote, hold on, Jimmy Dore's too angry or whatever. Now's not the time. Like, when is the time? When a new pandemic rolls through with a 30% mortality rate rather than a 2% mortality rate? Is that when half the population's dead? Is that when we'll do it? Like,
and the problem is, as long as they have the power and the wealth and the privilege, no matter what type of pandemic comes through, they're going to be hit the least. They're going to have their cushy health care. They're going to be given the VIP treatment when they're in the hospital. They're going to be first in line for the vaccines. So as long as we have these super wealthy politicians in office who do this insider trading, and they're super wealthy and they're super powerful, and they're always going to be in the front of the line, how can we ever expect them to take our needs seriously and put them above their own?
That's such a great point. And I just want to touch on too, I think part of the money in politics, I think part of the problem too is I don't think personally it's possible to reform the Democratic Party from within. I really think it's going to take the People's Party or something like that, because we're seeing it. I mean, AOC and the squad, I've advocated for them on the show. I was so fired up when they won. AOC, like, this is, and now we're seeing that, she's like, make politicians uncomfortable, but then, all right, we're going to make you uncomfortable. And she's like, whoa, that's mean. And it's like, I'm like, come on, like, what are you talking about? And like you say, and then when other people on the left are like, don't be so hard on the squad. I'm like, look, Lindsey Graham hasn't promised me shit. Him and Mitch McConnell haven't promised me a damn thing. AOC and the squad did. They did. They promised me this. Bernie promised me this. I got behind them. So they're in office and they said they're going to fight for Medicare for all. And then they're like, well, let's wait for all this incremental centrism. And I'm like, it's driving me crazy. What do we need? 1 million people dead from COVID? 100,000 people dying every year because they don't have health insurance rather than the 60,000? Like, what is it going to take?
Exactly. And whatever that is, I'm scared to find out.
Yeah.
Because it's something worse than now. What worse could it be? It's too scary to think about.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you talking about this, and I really appreciate you fighting the fight, because like you say, I mean, you're doing all right. You're a doctor, you have family around you that can take care of you, but most people are one financial. I mean, before COVID, they did a study. It was $500 to $1,000 emergency. Like, they couldn't afford a $500 to $1,000 emergency. That was before COVID. Now we've got people who haven't worked for 6, 9, 10 months.
Right.
I mean, they're backed up on rent and this.
And the solution is to pause stuff. So if I can't pay 2 months of rent, how am I supposed to pay 12 months of rent? And how am I supposed to catch up on 24 months of rent? It's just it's like the student loan thing. Biden paused it. I mean, Trump paused student loans. You did nothing different from Trump.
Yeah.
And then with this means testing crap that they're doing, it's like, so what if a couple people who are a little bit weller to do get some free college? Who cares? Most of the time, they're not going to public colleges. They're going to the Ivy League. So who cares if a couple 100,000-aires get to have their kids go to college for free, because we're trying to make sure everybody goes to school for free? It should not matter. The billionaires, they're not, and it makes me mad. Like, I believe that all kids should have free lunch when they go to school. I feel like they should have lunch and breakfast. And if they need it on the weekends, the school should give them the food to take home too. Well, what about the wealthy parents? Why should we pay for their kids' lunch? And I'm like, I don't care if baby Bezos goes to public school. If baby Bezos goes to public school and his dad pays taxes, which he doesn't, but if his dad pays taxes, then baby Bezos' lunch should be free too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we got to stop with this means testing bull crap and just give the people that they help that they need.
Yeah.
Give the $2,000 that you promised. The $2,000 that you promised, not the $1,400. Don't means test it based off of income that people no longer have. Again, like I said, people like nurses can make $50,000 a year. How are you going to have this arbitrary cutoff? Teachers, if they've been in their job for multiple years, can make $50,000 a year or more. So why are you going to say that these people don't deserve the relief, who are essential workers, who have been working throughout the entire pandemic, that they don't reserve? You're so worried about them getting a penny that they deserve, but you're not worried about these billionaires getting billions that they don't deserve. It's disgusting.
Oh yeah, and it's this like, then how are we going to pay for it? Boy, they got no problem. I mean, the minute Biden got in office, we rolled troops back into Syria to guard the oil. So we got money for that, apparently. Right. We got money to bail out Wall Street. I mean, Wall Street's taken care of. Are they good? Is Wall Street okay? Oh, good. They're taken care of. Because is anyone in Wall Street waiting in line for 3 hours for food? Does that happen? You know, that hedge fund that lost all that money from GameStop. Oh man, if those hedge fund guys got to wait in line at a food bank, boy, thoughts and prayers. I mean, so it's like, we got money for war. We always got money to bail out big corporations, but we don't have money for the American people. And it's just preposterous to me. But I agree with you, Dr. Dooley. I'm shocked people aren't in the street protesting this as well. But I really appreciate you taking the time to talk about Medicare for All, and then educate myself and my audience about the vaccine. And again, if people out there don't want to take it, that's their right to not take it, right?
It is their right, and we don't have enough for everybody anyway. So if you don't want the vaccine, move on aside, because I got tons of people who do want it. So if you want to be the last to get it, cool. There's plenty of people. The demand is great. The demand is greater than the supply. So if you don't want it, don't get it. But if you're on the fence because, you're a little bit hesitant about it, you're a little bit anxious about it, I'm here and I'm admitting that I was a little bit anxious, not because I thought it had microchips or anything, just because it's new and we've had a messed up year. So yeah, I was a little bit anxious, but here I am sitting alive to tell you about it, and I feel great. My parents have gotten their first dose. That was a feat in itself. They're over 65. My father's super high risk. So, I was anxiously waiting for them to get their vaccines, because somebody like my father gets COVID, he has a high likelihood of dying from it. So, they were nervous too, but after I got it and shared my experience with them, they were on board. So talk to somebody you know and trust, and just remember, people are always quick, just like with reviews. Anytime somebody has bad service, they're going to go on and, leave the bad Yelp review. But people who have good, positive experiences don't speak up enough and aren't as vocal enough. But there are millions of people who had great experiences with the vaccine. And like I said, I'm not sending off any 5G signals. I made a joke, anytime I talk about something, I see an ad pop up on my phone since the vaccine. Oh, no, wait, that was happening before I got the vaccine. So it's not related to the vaccine. So please strongly consider getting it so we can reach herd immunity and get back to some greater sense of the new normalcy.
Cool. And if you turn into a zombie, let us know. We'll have you back on the show, because I'm sure we'll get a lot of views. You know what I mean? That'd be helpful.
Yes.
Dr. Victoria Dooley, how can people follow you on what's your Twitter handle?
I am at Dr. Dooley, MD, DrDooley, MD.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dooley. Really appreciate the time and appreciate the work you're doing. And hopefully the next time we have you on the show, it's to talk about how great Medicare for All is now that we got it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Graham.
All right. Have a good night.
Goodbye.
Bye. Dr. Victoria, how was that, folks? Huh? Look at this. Great. She answered my questions. And I love what you said. Anyone in the chat, don't get it. If you don't want it, she said, don't get it. Just step aside. There's plenty of people that want it. It's all good. You don't have to be mad that she's saying it's good. If you don't want it, don't get it. I love that. I absolutely, I that was, how great was that? That was fantastic. That's stuff like that is why I love doing this show. It's so dope, so great. What did you ask me, Kate? Please put the chat on slow mode. All right. I don't know how to do. All right. Let me. I don't know how to put the chat on slow mode, Kate. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Let's see. I don't know what you mean. Put the chat on slow mode. I don't know how that works. Any slower would be stopped. Gina G, who's a scientist, I believe. They have mRNA vaccines that are based off of other strains of SARS. So the base for the vaccine is already there. Oh, good to know. Yeah, that was cool. And like because I heard that, oh, it's going to change your DNA. I heard that, but again, I just read it on the internet. That doesn't mean anything. And so she's like, it does not change your DNA. And then the difference between the Johnson & Johnson, a vector vaccine versus that was good to know. Good to know. Good smoothie. All right. Oh, vegan guns. There they are. Well, some of you are like, Graham, you should ask more questions. That's fine. That's why I gave her Twitter. Ask her questions on Twitter. Maybe she'll answer them. She seems pretty straightforward, pretty open. That's why I like her. She wasn't being evasive at all. Let me pin that chat, Kate. All right. Let me read some. First, I'm going to read some Rockfin tips, and then we'll get into the Venmos. Thank you, everybody, on the Rockfin. Caddy May, thank you for the Rockfin tip. Folks, please sign up for Rockfin, blockchain cryptocurrency platform. They're pretty awesome. Oh, hold on. This keeps jumping around. Jump around. Jump around. Oh, I got to finish this smoothie. So good. Good smoothie. Rog McMurtry, Rob, shave your knuckles with justice. Thank you for the Rockfin tip. Here's some vegan guns. Hey, buddy. Tom Carter from YouTube. They can't stop the... I'm sorry. God, sorry. Rob McMurtry. Thank you for the tip, Rob McMurtry. Thank you so much. Major Tom. Boom. Shaving Knuckles for Justice. I don't trust corporations, vampires who spend more money on advertising, marketing, legal, and political donations than they do on research and development, which they sweep under the rug when profitable. Anyway, how can I trust this vaccine? I want to trust you. Thank you. That's why I brought Dr. Dooley on. Listen to a doctor, make your own decisions. People, some people get, Graham, you're pushing this vaccine. It's a personal, I don't know how many times I have to say this. And I don't know why this is such a hard thing to hear. And I'm not saying you're saying this, but in general, I'm going to take it. If you don't want to take it, don't. See how simple that is? There you go. I get the don't trust thing. I feel the same way about big pharmaceutical companies. For me, I mean, part of it, since the pharmaceutical companies are all about money and profit, the whole world has been shut down. The whole global economy has been shut down. So if these vaccines are causing mass problems, let's say a bunch of people are getting sick, they're dying, and these vaccines are like making it worse, then it would kill all these companies. So no vaccine is 100% safe. Some people are going to have adverse reactions. Like she said, people have, I mean, when I was married, my wife was allergic, had an anaphylactic reaction to zinc. Because usually when I get a cold or something, I take zinc. And she was like feeling sick and all, and I gave her some of that Zicam stuff, right? I like that stuff. I use it. And she was like, it was scary. And we had to have like Benadryl in the house in the off chance that happened again. Does that mean no one should take zinc? Everyone's going to die from zinc. Like, Graham, stop pushing zinc. I'm just saying it worked for me. It did not work for my wife. So that's any medication. I mean, anytime I've ever gone to the doctor, they always asked, do you have any allergies to any medication? I say not to my knowledge, but if they ever gave me some new one, I could just have an allergic reaction. That could happen. That could happen to me if I get this vaccine. But is it this widespread conspiracy and they're going to murder all of us? I don't believe that. If you believe that, that's fine. I don't think the earth is flat. I brought her on the show for my own purposes and for yours to help make your own decisions. If after watching that interview, you go, I'm still not taking it. Great. Great. Fantastic. That's good for you. Make your own decisions. Brian Connor, boom. Thank you, Brian, so much. Tron Carter. Hey, buddy, Tron Carter from YouTube. They can't stop our knuckles. Too smooth. Aerodynamics are real. Oh, man. Crazy week getting censored or getting, demonetized. Independent Left News. Boom. Thank you, brother. Solidarity, brother Graham. Sorry to see you put through this garbage. Lots of people behind you. And I really appreciate that. And I can't say this enough. This week has been really hard and stressful because a large portion of my revenue comes from YouTube to do this channel. This channel is my job. It was my full-time job. And before COVID, it really became my full-time job with my road, because I would do this show and then do the road with Ron and Jimmy. But this show would help fuel ticket sales on the road, and that's how we would promote it. And doing Jimmy's live show would help bring audiences over here. Many of you found this show through Jimmy's show, right? So I do his live show. People would come to the live show. There would be clips from the live show, and people would be like, oh, I'm going to start following Graham, which would help. So that I got taken away. So I've had to do this show. This has been my full-time job since the shutdown last March. We're talking about 11 months ago. So Monday, they took out a huge, it's scary. The upside is people have been rallying around me. Like, I'm going to be on Katie Halper's show later tonight. And that's pretty awesome. And so I'm going to probably do another 15, 20 minutes of this and jump over to Katie's show. Kim Iverson called me. He's like, how can I help? Jimmy had me on his show. Jordan has texted me saying he wants me to come on a show. I actually need to yes, I can do. I'm going to do Jordan's show tomorrow. Lee Camp, all my friends have rallied, and then all of you have rallied. Like so many of you are like, I'm done with YouTube Premium. I cancel my subscription. I'm down with Rockfin. That's awesome. I talked to the head, Martin Floriani, the head of Rockfin today, and I was like, dude. And he's like, I'm well aware it's been going on. And I said, you know, Martin, this is an opportunity, I think, for Rockfin to maybe just put out some tweets or something saying we stand by our content creators. And he's like, you're right. I go, my subscriber number. He goes, man, I've seen it. Your guys' numbers, all of you have been deplatformed. Your Rockfin numbers are going up, which is great. I appreciate it. Like all of you coming over to Rockfin is great. You know, it's really cool. So, it's a bummer and it's scary, but it also seeing everybody rally together is really awesome. So look, Chris was on the show yesterday. I mean, we've been having, you know, Dr. Dooley today. Like we're going to keep going. And, you know, Tuesday morning I had a meeting with, my assistant and my producer, both of whom had met each other because they live in different places. So they got to meet each other on Zoom. And it was cool. Like I was like, hey, here's what's up. You know, this is what's going on. And just to have like, you know, the two people on the call, like, man, this sucks, but we're going to do this. And just like we're already like getting into a strategy. Well, we're going to do this. Like I've been told about entropy and I just haven't had time to figure it out. I'm told it's not that bad or it's not that hard to do, but I will do it. So I'm going to get that set up. The people jumping over to Rockfin's been great. People in the Venmo have been great. So I've been getting PayPal donations, which you can do at grahamelwood.com. The rally and support around this has been great because if I lose 60% of my revenue, I can't keep doing the show. And so, which is what they want, which is what Google and the deep state want. They want me to shut up. They want me to stop doing this. They want to make it so difficult for me that I quit. That's what they're trying to do. Right? So, you guys are making it easy for me to keep going. So I really appreciate it. Marie Garan, shave your knuckles for justice. For universal healthcare, why not organizing at a state level? This is how we did it in Canada, one province at a time. Marie, that's a great idea. And there's been a movement like here in California to push for Medicare for all. So that's the thing. And I talk about that in general a lot on this show is just push on a local level. So everybody, whatever state you're in, start advocating for Medicare for all in your state. That's how we're going to get Medicare for all. That's how we're going to get the decriminalization of marijuana. We already have all these states. I mean, look what Oregon just passed. They decriminalized all drugs. That was because they had already decriminalized marijuana. They had medical marijuana years ago, and then they did, recreation. So do it on a state level. Get Medicare for all on a state level. It's a great idea, Marie. You're absolutely correct. John Roth, boom, Johnny. Thanks, Graham. I'm wondering how they can argue that the mRNA vax supports herd immunity if it does not stop infectiousness. Any thoughts? I believe, that's a great question. I'm sorry I didn't even think to ask that of her. But how, as I understand it, the way they're talking about herd immunity is if everybody's right now, it's spreading and it's dangerous and people can get hospitalized and obviously people can die. We're already at almost 500,000 deaths, which is horrific. So what they're talking about, if everybody or the majority of the population gets the vaccine, then we do have herd immunity in terms of the majority of the people have the vaccine. So when it's transmissible, it's not that severe. And then it can't mutate. Usually a lot of times viruses, they mutate out and they get less, they become more I forgot to ask this question. They mutate to become more contagious, but less lethal, typically is what happens, as I understand it. So that's my understanding of how it would become herd immunity, in terms of everybody would, if the majority of the population is vaccinated, then it's not so contagious and not so deadly, is my understanding. Great question. And again, I would urge you to ask her questions on Twitter. Okay, let's go to Venmo. Gina G, shaving knuckles for justice. Fuck Elon, apartheid emerald bitch. You're awesome, Gina. Great question. Joe Rowe Rossler, shaving knuckles for justice. If Libby, Montana could get Medicare for all due to pollution, there is no excuse we can't have it in a year of a pandemic. So yeah, just to clarify what Jonathan is talking about. So Libby, Montana, a small town in Montana, not a very populated state, had an environmental disaster, right? There was like pollution, if I understand correctly, like water pollution, and people were getting sick. So Libby, Montana said, okay, they passed a law. They were in an emergency. They declared a state of emergency for Montana, or just maybe that town. I don't know if the governor came in. I don't know the particulars of it, but some type of either local or state declaration of emergency was made, which gave the mayor of that town the power to say everybody gets free healthcare in Libby, Montana. And Joe Biden could do that here. Pressure Joe Biden. He could do that right now today. Joe Biden could wake up tomorrow and go, COVID numbers are still bad. Everybody gets Medicare for all. He could do that right now. He could do it tomorrow morning. You could wake up tomorrow morning and have free healthcare. So pressure Joe Biden, pressure the Democrats. Don't let up. And when dumb liberal friends on social media go, don't pressure him, go easy, wait till the midterms, wait, give him a chance, chill. Go, we're in the middle of a pandemic. There's no time to waste. Hundreds of thousands of people are dying. We need this right now. Great question. Brent McKinney. Dr. Dooley, what should disabled people with 2 autoimmune diseases do about taking a vaccine that wasn't tested on them? Wow, that's a great question. Wow. Well, I would ask your physician too first, Brent. Ask your local physician, because that's what she is. She's a family care physician, right? She's like a general practitioner. So I would ask your GP, your general practitioner, that same question. Ask Dr. Dooley this online, but go to your doctor who knows you and knows your medical history. That's one thing she was talking about. Like, she has this rapport with her patients. So people trust her. So I would go to your local doctor and say, what do I do about this? It's a really great question. These are great questions to ask. All great. That's why I wanted to have her on. I wanted to ask questions. I want to know. This whole thing is fucking scary. This whole COVID shit is scary, and a vaccine's scary. And all of it, it's all crazy and scary, man. We're living in crazy times. So it's great to ask questions. Flipping out in the chat and saying a bunch of crazy stuff, that doesn't help. Ophelia, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. Pasabe Glacier, shave your knuckles for justice. I love Dr. Dooley. I hate YouTube. Keep on keeping on, Graham. I'm going to see you with Katie Halper in a bit. Oh, yeah. Right on. Devin Ramogan. Sorry, I'm killing your name. My fault. Call me Grant. If that makes you feel better. To hell with YouTube. Yes, sir. Isaiah Perez, keep speaking truth. Thank you so much. Thank you, folks. Great questions. Yeah, again, if there weren't enough answers, there weren't enough answers by Dr. Dooley, ask your general, ask your local physician. I would absolutely, I would ask your general physician, because again, she's a family doctor. She knows what she's talking about, but she's also not on the research staff that are doing these vaccines, but she's read all the data and read all the studies. And that's all you can do in science. Get as much data as you can. A new report will come out, new data can come in, and maybe it'll change. So yeah, keep asking the questions. It's fantastic. Tron Carter, shave your knuckles for justice. Let's go, Graham. I'll read that aloud, brother. Thank you so much. A McHugh, ba-boom. Keep fighting, brother. We need you more than $5 does justice. No, thank you so much. And folks, people are like, I can only give a couple bucks. I wish I could give more, or I don't have any money because I can't. Don't worry. Anything you give, any amount, any dollar amount, I appreciate. And if you can't give any money because you lost your job because of COVID, don't worry. We're going to figure this out. We're going to get through this. Trust me. The great ways to support the show that are free. First of all, go to rockfin.com and just signing up for Rockfin is free. And then there's a premium tier that's $10 a month that gets you all the premium content. So if you can't afford that, just sign up for free. Start listening to the Political Vigilante podcast on iTunes. It's free. Likes are free. Positive reviews to the podcast on iTunes and Spotify and all that's good and free. Sharing the videos on social media, especially the Rockfin ones on your social media. That's a free way to, even if you only have a handful of social media followers, every little bit of that helps. That digitally spreading the word helps. And do not feel bad if you got no money. Don't feel bad at all. It fucking sucks right now. It sucks. Our government gave us $600, which is just such a slap in the face. So don't feel bad. And I appreciate you just being here. And there's a lot of free ways to support the show. Martin Brzezinski, thanks for all you do. Thanks for all you do, friend. We have lost more American people due to COVID than died in World War II. The fact that the Democrats and Republicans have not passed Medicare for all in this time just goes to show that they don't have plans to ever do it. Yeah, they hate us. Both parties hate us. Graham, look into nano crypto, instant transactions with no transfer fee. Bitcoin, Ethereum have high transfer fees. Oh, good to know. Yes, they do. Geez, especially lately. Good God. Thank you for that. Listening here, but watching on Rockfin, raking it in warms my heart to see everybody. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Capitalists love to create poverty so they can threaten you with it. Yeah, I know. That's a great point. God, that's a great point. A lot of cryptocurrencies are down. Buy the dip. Look, make your own financial decisions, do your own research, but that's what I've done. Bitcoin shot up to 41,000. When it dropped to like 32, 33, I bought more. And now it jumped up to 37, 38,000. That's what I'm doing. Let's see where it's at right now. Crypto update brought to you by Vegan Guns. Oh, Bitcoin's down to 36.7. It's gone down today. Yeah, there you go. Well, it's not a bad call. Ethereum was at 1670 last night. Yesterday, one day, it's gone up to 1688, which I think is its all-time high. Yeah. So it's down a little bit. Litecoin's been kind of moving sideways all week. It went up to 156. They're dipping a little bit. Yeah. Smartest thing I did was start really paying attention to crypto last summer. Started watching crypto videos, getting more educated, talking to more people that like, that's one. And again, when I start learning something or want to learn something, I try to bring people on the show. We brought Rosie Tran on the show last summer to talk about Bitcoin and crypto. When I was first getting into it, I was like, okay. Then we brought Christy I on the show a couple of times. And then I really started paying attention. I watched Max Kaiser, the Kaiser Report on RT. These are all shows you can get on YouTube. Boom Bust, which is the show Christy's a co-host on. They talk about crypto a lot. They talk about other things. They have a good kind of less evil capitalist view of the markets and stuff like that. I watch, and again, Bitcoin.com's YouTube channel has a Bitcoin 101 playlist. If you're like, Graham, I don't get this at all, don't worry. Everybody felt that way at first. Watch that and you'll start to kind of get a better feel for it. I've been turning more friends of mine over to this. We're like, yeah. You know, buddy of mine got involved like 3-4 months. He's like, what's this? All right. And he's like, dude, I put a little bit of money in. It's already like, I see the long-term play on this. So. All right. Let me see if there's any more Venmos, and then I'm going to jump over to Katie's show. Gina G, what's up, Gina? You see, people are trying to make the recall of Newsom into a partisan issue. He hasn't done dick for California working class. P.S. Fuck Elon and Bezos. I want them responsible by cybernet. Oh. You got it. Daniel. All right, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Zoom. Hey, I canceled my YouTube premium. I know I keep tweeting you to get on TikTok, but I really hope you can start dropping some clips and redirecting Gen Z to Rockfin. I think with the influx of cryptocurrency in the news, they love it, and your content, looking forward to some fun. Daniel, thank you so much. And I have heard you. You and a couple others have mentioned this. I did set up a TikTok account. I am on TikTok. I don't think there's any videos on it yet, but I'll try to start. It's just, there's so much to do this show. It takes so much work during the day. So then on top of it, like, think of some fun TikToks. I'll try to do that. I appreciate it. I'm not blowing you off. I'm not like, oh, this is a stupid idea. It's just like, fuck, a whole nother TikTok. Like, I got to deal with, but I will, because you're talking about it'll reach Gen Z, and Gen Z is really on board with crypto, and they're on board with socialism and all that, which I really want to reach, and I appreciate that. So I'm not blowing you off. I'm just, there's this, and this week has been fucking bananas. So, but I'm on it, dude. I appreciate it. Give me some chance. Give me some chance. What does that mean? Can you do me a kindness? I will. I can't. YouTube took away my ability to form sentences. Jonathan Joe Rossler, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. People's Party got ballot access in California. You can run against the snob in Santa Monica now. I saw that. So People's Party sent me an email. I forgot to fill it out yet, but go to peoplesparty.org or .com, whatever it is. And if you're in the state of California, you can now go online and register for the People's Party in the state of California. They need something like 50,000 people to do it. Again, I've been a little busy this week fighting Big Brother, but sign up for if you're in California, you can register with the People's Party. Hello. Dave Anthony is in the chat. Dave, you want to come on the show real quick, dude? I got to jump over to Katie Halper's show, but you want to come on the show? More nudity? All right, Dave. Host of the dollop. There you go, pal. You want a little taste of that? Is that getting you hot right there? Come on, let's do it. Put that on your Rockfin tip, huh? How about that? How about one more button? Put another tip in there. Now, I'm just like a stripper. Oh. You like the surfer necklace, right? I wear this all the time. I'm Gen X, right on. My apologies about the demonetization. All right, Dave, I'm going to email you a link real quick to come on the show. We're going to have Dave Anthony on the show, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about how fun censorship is. Dave loves censorship. He loves big corporations. So I think that's what the dollop's all about, right? Isn't that what the dollop's all about? You're just like, I love censorship. It's so awesome. I can't talk for long, Dave, because I got to go do Katie Helper show. But yeah, come on the chat. Let's do it. Graham is handsome. Thank you so much. Dave Anthony is a CIA plant. So great. While we wait for Dave Anthony, Tyler Reinhardt, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Thank you, Tyler. Nick Sandoval. What's up, Nick? Yesterday, you told me to think like a criminal, and that's good advice. I'm a senior in business school. How's that for learning to think like a criminal? Well, that's a criminal enterprise, Nick. Anyways, that's my way of saying I'm a student on a budget, but trying to budget a little for these tips because I appreciate the show. I know it's not much, but I hope it helps. Keep up the great work. You are an inspiration. Dude, every little thing helps. I'm telling you, don't ever feel bad for even just $1 or $2. I appreciate it. Even that's all you ever, I appreciate it, man. I really, really don't feel bad. It's great. Whatever you can do, it's awesome. And yeah, man, be that like Trojan horse. You know what I mean, Nick? Like learn their evil Wall Street ways and join some hedge fund and then just like, you know, Robin Hood that money. Boo. Graham's advocating bad things. We're going to shut him down. All right. Let's bring on the show, ladies and gentlemen, from the hit podcast, The Dollop. Dave Anthony.
What's up, Alex Jones? How you doing, Milo?
Just
man, how are you?
Just putting out hurtful content. That's all I'm doing, according to YouTube. So, welcome to the Political Vigilante, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Graham Elwood. We're here by host of The Dollop, Dave Anthony. So it's been a little bit of a bloodletting this week from YouTube, demonetizing myself and a bunch of others. You love censorship, right? Isn't that why you do what you do?
I'm a huge fan. I mean, my thing has always been like, just everybody shut up. Just like nobody gets to say. The important thing is that Rachel Maddow gets to say what. Oh, there goes my kid. Oh. The most important thing is that people like Rachel. What is he doing? Yeah. I mean, we all knew this was coming,
right?
We've talked about it before. Like we all knew it was coming. I'm not of the opinion that, I know some people are like, well, everybody cheered when they did it the right, and I think they would have done it anyway. I don't think it's. I just think that this was coming, even if people weren't like, oh yes, take out Alex Jones. I think it still would have happened. Regardless, they would have always taken out the left.
Yeah.
It's completely expected. Look, they're giant corporations. You're a fucking socialist. they're not going to let you do your thing. That's just how America's always worked. They're not going to let socialists have a voice. They just don't. They never have. They never will. They put fucking, Eugene Debs in fucking jail. Like, this is who they are. They have always been this way.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. No, it's really like you're right. You and I have talked about this privately. Like, this is, and all of everybody, I mean, Jimmy, Ron Placone, Lee Camp, all of us have been like, this is coming. And we've been saying this is coming for 2 years, really. I mean, just in terms of watching how YouTube would, limit ads when I did a video about the war in Yemen or, anything like that. You just saw that coming. And then
it started with the serious stuff and demonetizing that like right away. You see where that's all heading. You know where it's heading once they start doing that.
Yeah. And it's really like, so it's not surprising. I mean, I'm a little like, wow, they're just doing it all in 1 week. Like, they just said February 1st, go. And I got hit. And then it's been just literally every day I get texts from people saying, oh, this show went down. This show just got down. And they hit this guy. I forgot his name. Let me find it. Kim Iverson sent it to me today. Dan Bongino. I don't know him, but he's got 775,000 subscribers. They took him down.
That's the NRA guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That guy had the NRA TV channel thing. He's a huge right-wing douchebag. That's surprising to me because he's Alex Jones big. Like, he's huge. He's not just on YouTube. He's got Facebook. He's massive. That it's what's crazy about this to me is like, I guess they make so much money they don't give a shit. I guess they don't give a shit. And Jimmy's. What do we think? Jimmy's got a fucking week.
Maybe. I mean, he won't make it to the end of the month. That's for sure. I can't imagine they're going to let him, the way they're just like wantonly, unless there's been enough pushback. I don't know. But I mean, like, this is the kind of thing where I don't know if they're deliberately picking off the sort of mid-level shows like mine with 50 to 75,000 subscribers and then sparing Jimmy, because they know if they take Jimmy down, Joe Rogan will come forward, and Joe Rogan's got 10 million. TYT won't, because they love censorship and they're sellout pieces of shit, but
they're just fucking amazing throughout all that shit.
They're amazing. They're just like, yay, censorship. It's unreal. Like, they must not have mirrors in their complex because they can't see their own reflection, because you need a soul for that, I found out.
Well, I mean, look, you have an Armenian woman who's on a fucking network called the Young Turks. So right there you have a legitimate issue with whatever in the fuck you are. Like, it's like having a fucking Jewish woman on a show called the Nazi Hour. Like, it's just fucking insane.
Yeah. The Gestapo network with... it's really insane.
You know what? But I think, I saw people in the chat. This is going to make Rockfin and maybe another alternative, but it's going to start to happen now. Like, this is the balkanization of media. It was always coming. And maybe in the long run, this will be a good thing. Like, maybe in the long run, a lot of people start to leave YouTube and go look for content elsewhere. I mean, YouTube has to go down in it because they have so much control, and they're in bed with the Democrats. Like, that, I think that one of the main reasons this is happening right now is because the Democrats, Biden and the Obama people, they've been so just back and forth with YouTube and Uber and all these fucking shit companies that it's just one big party. And Silicon Valley is the Democratic landing ground for once you get out of public office. So this isn't a surprise. This is happening once Biden took over, because you're not really a threat when you're dealing with Trump, because there's so many people yelling at Trump, but they don't want you yelling at Biden.
Oh, clearly. I mean, look, dude, last week I did a bunch of videos and live streams about the GameStop thing. And I brought up the fact, again, to your point, Janet Yellen has gotten $7 million from all these, not just banks, but Google. She got money from Google. And then, you know, I did videos showing Jen Psaki, the press secretary for Biden, dodged the blatant straight question. It was a straight question. Should she recuse herself for conflict of interest? Well, she earned the right to earn money. No one was asking that.
Because she's a lady? Is that why? No, it's because she's corrupt. It's not.
Yeah. That's not the question. That's the question. Are there conversations about her recusing herself because it's such a clear conflict of interest? Yeah. Oh, women shouldn't be millionaires. Nobody said that. Nobody said that. And then, so you're seeing this like you're talking about. I mean, Janet Yellen's speaker fee resume is just like every bank and tech company all together. I mean, you see how they're all infused. And
it's not like anybody at Morgan Stanley needs to hear Janet Yellen speak. It's not like gonna be like, oh wow, how that's really interesting. It's fucking Morgan Stanley. They're not picking up any pointers from fucking Yellen. Like, Jesus Christ, it's clearly just a money handoff. It's just so crazy that anybody would say it's not.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, and now we spent $7 million and we got our Secretary of Treasury, so now we're covered. I mean, that's what they're paying for. In the same way when they buy ad time on the big networks, Boeing isn't buying ad time on MSNBC because you're home with your wife going, oh, honey, the new F-18s are here. Like, they're doing it so that no one's going to push. MSNBC's not going to go, hey, wait, or Raytheon. This is an even better example. Raytheon buys ad time on MSNBC because no one is going to go, oh, the new Secretary of Defense is on the Raytheon board of directors. That's a clear conflict of interest. Instead, all they say is first black man. And it's like,
that's right. Yeah, it's really insane.
It's nuts. It's like a conflict of interest. They don't have it. The conflict of interest have been bought out. They've all been paid to not see it.
Yeah, and it's gone. It's just over.
My little show and other little YouTube shows are the only ones calling it out now. And so they just cut us out at the knees and took our money away. But I think you're right in terms of the long run. And I said this on my show, and I've said this to I have 2 part-time employees. We had a meeting like, you know, urgent Tuesday morning when this all went down. As I said, look, in the short run, this is going to be difficult and it's going to suck. But I think in the long run, like I've just seen in the last 3 days, I mean, even in this live chat. So I'm live streaming on YouTube, but also on Rockfin. And all people are doing the last 3 days is I'm done with YouTube. I'm jumping over to Rockfin. I'm going to Rockfin. My subscriber number has gone up on Rockfin. You're going to be on Rockfin. Lee Camp's on Rockfin. Jimmy's on Status Coup, Convo, all the shows that just got tagged. Nico, we all just got hit. Yep. We're all on Rockfin. So it's like, and I talked to the head of Rockfin this morning on the phone and I said, dude, I know you're aware of this. I go put out a post or a social media thing saying we stand by our content creators. And I'm like, because your show is going to be the front line of freedom of speech, you know? And which is in the long run, it's good because it's blockchain, which the more I learn about that, I'm like, oh, great. They can't just, you know, they can't hack it. They can't just buy up the servers and do whatever they want. Yeah. And then you and I have both been getting more knowledgeable about crypto. We're seeing the power of that. The Ray token a year ago was at 17 cents. Today it closed at somewhere around $4 or not closed. It's always trading. Wow. Yeah. So it's like, so even that is, I'm seeing the potential long-term value as a content creator. If their cryptocurrency keeps going up through the roof, I'm getting the same amount of tokens from them for my content, but they'll be worth more. Yeah. So it's like, and they designed this platform just to reward the content creators.
Right.
So this could, I mean, honestly, like the Robinhood GameStop thing, and then what's happening now, I think the fallout from that is actually going to be more of this sort of online digital activism revolution thing, right?
Yeah, it's got to head in that direction. And they're, you know, it's not like the people who are on YouTube are like the liberals, like the mainstream. They're not here. They're not watching this shit. Like most people on here are, you know, looking for an alternative news source, and those are the people they're shutting down. So it's a really dumb, you know, model. I mean, I guess it's just all going to be people doing makeup and Mr. Beast and shit. Like, I don't know, but it just seems like they're going to drive all political people off of off of this medium, and fucking good. It's a
Yeah.
shit fucking medium. It's a fucking asshole of a company. It always has been. And they cannot have a fucking monopoly on this. They just can't. It's just crazy that someone like you, and now your living is just like totally
60% of my total revenue just got knocked out. That was 60% of this show's revenue. It was YouTube. Knocked out overnight. Done.
And then guys like Jordan and like Ford Fisher. Ford Fisher is just literally just putting up fucking videos from the attack on the Capitol. That's all he's doing. He's just a journalist.
Yeah.
And his videos have been on CNN and cover, and then they yank him down. It's like, this is the same shit that the mainstream media is using. They're literally asking him to use his videos, and now you're shutting him fucking down. Like, it is astounding what is going on.
Yeah. And I think in the long run, though, it's like, YouTube is the big boy and they got all this muscle and they work with the CIA. It's like, all right, they're really close to becoming MySpace. Like, keep it up.
That's right. I mean, you think of websites like Dig and you think of MySpace, and shit can flip like that. It can really just flip. And it doesn't even matter. Like, even people who are doing a makeup show or whatever, like, if they see that they can make money elsewhere by also having content on Rockfin, they will jump in a second. They'll start putting up content there. They just will. Everybody will. It's just, and you also don't know if your show is you could just make one mistake now. Someone could just slip up in their stupid makeup show and say something, and then they're done. No one can exist like that. So even besides the political hit job this is, which is just such a blatant political hit job, but it's going to scare other people off of this medium.
Yes.
It's going to make everyone branch out, and that's for the greater good.
I agree. And it really undermines their monopoly and their power and their control, because right now YouTube, from a tech standpoint, is a really solid platform in terms of just content and the analytics and all. They've got that down because they've got the money and the infrastructure to do it. But like, okay, guess what? This week, I mean, Rockfin's numbers have gone through the roof, man. I mean, all of us have been live streaming all week going, go to Rockfin. YouTube won't, people are coming on the YouTube chat. That's why I'm simulcasting right tonight. They were like, where's the super chat feature? They took it away. Oh, fuck this. I'm going to Rockfin. Like, I've been getting that all week. So it's like, okay, all they care about is money. That's why I say vote with your dollars, financial boycotts. And this is why, like, don't use Google, use like, I use ecosia.org, which is a non-for-profit search engine. I mean, any way you can get out from underneath them. And that's, again, why crypto is great. Like, I got out of debt with crypto, get out from their banks, get out from their war, get out from their big tech, which they all work together. They all work together to keep us all under their thumb. They sell other data, not only just sell it to the CIA, sometimes they just work directly with the CIA. So why not leave, man?
Get the fuck out. It's an opportunity. I mean, it's going to be a hit, in the short run, but in the long run, it's not. It's going to be better.
I think we're going to point to, it's funny, a bunch of people in the chat last week said, we're going to look at January 27th as like the Tea Party, like the Boston Tea Party. Like, that date's going to go down in history, what the Wall Street bets did. And then I think the first week of February, like this whole time frame, like they picked a bad time. Everyone's already kind of fired up what happened. And then seeing how corrupt the system was with Robinhood, when like mainstream Wall Street people are on shows like Bloomberg and CNBC going, wait a minute. When Wall Street people are saying this ain't right, the system's corrupt. And then everyone's like, ha, when, young Republicans are protesting on Wall Street, that's like Americans waking up and then seeing this bloodletting on YouTube. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, the only people that seem to be down with it, I just keep seeing leftists. Whenever someone gets knocked off, they go, oh, this guy said this. He's for Pizzagate. And you're like, oh, good job, leftist. No, you're super lefty right now. How fucking incredibly lefty of you to be excited that a lefty is getting kicked off a fucking platform in which they can talk sense to people and get people to move over to the left. No, good job. I'm just like, this is fucking embarrassing.
you're not a lefty then. You're a right-wing fascist. If you're like, yay, I'm glad for all this censorship, you can't call yourself left or liberal or anything. You'll say, oh, because this is the other thing that drives me nuts. Like, everyone was like, Trump pushed this election, fraud thing. And that helped fuel the capital thing. Well, you know what else helped fuel it? 4 years of blaming everything on Russia, that the corporate media seems to be they're off the hook for that. Like,
it's really fucking amazing. It's really amazing.
They're
completely off the hook. They push their own conspiracies, and then we just have to sit back and what about fucking Iraq? Like, we invaded Iraq just based on why do all of the channels get to still exist if that happened? Why shouldn't CNN and New York Times and everything else be fucking canceled? Like, it's just mind-boggling what this society is. Like, Russiagate is just the latest in a series of just absolute bullshit by the mainstream media. It's crazy. I mean, you look at how they talk about Venezuela. It's like just the opposite of reality. It's mind-boggling, and you're like, oh no, but that's not misinformation. That's just whatever you want it to be.
Why aren't they deplatformed for saying Juan Guaido is the president of Venezuela? That right there should get you deplatformed because it's a lie. He's a CIA puppet who just stood up and said, I'm president. And most people in Venezuela go, who the fuck is this guy? Like, who's this guy?
It's really hard to watch. And we are getting the blowback from Russiagate, because what Russiagate did was it didn't make Democrats have to look at how much they fucked up.
No.
And so now you're getting the results of that, which is that nobody checked anything out and fixed anything, and you're just living in this fucking fantasy land. I mean, it's really crazy. Like, it's just this it's like, all the shit we've seen, 1984, Big Brother. It's really wild to watch it happen.
We've talked about this. We knew this was coming. So I wasn't like shocked on Monday, but it still is like, wow. Yeah, it happened. This is when it really happened to me. I was like, okay, so I have something in the neighborhood of 2,500 videos that are up. My back catalog of videos are all available. All the ads got pulled. No, they just said no ads on 2,500 videos. Like, my Epstein playlist, nope. My crypto playlist, nope. In my environmental, all my videos about, how to save the environment, no ads, nothing, gone, took it away. And I can't appeal it till March 3rd. They took a month.
That's what I don't understand. Did they give a reason for the month before an appeal?
No, and you can't do anything. There's the appeal button. You can't even click on it until March 3rd. That's it. You're just yelling at this monolith, just like, it's like walking outside of Google headquarters and just screaming over the fence or something, expecting like that nothing. They're like, harmful content, and you can appeal March 3rd.
And look, this isn't technically a free speech issue, because that's when the government shuts you down. Mm-hmm. This is a result of Obama and the Democrats allowing this massive monopoly to exist. Yep. Like, this is what happens when you allow a gigantic monopoly to take over the speech medium online, the video medium. It's all on them, but they're fucking happy to have it, right? They're happy to cut you out and cut out anybody else. They're happy to cut out, Jordan and all these other fucking people who are just to the left of the party. So are they going to fix this? No, they're not going to fix this. They're also, like I said, they're all in bed with all of these Silicon Valley companies. At the end of the day, it's really a problem of a monopoly. Yeah, because you should be, if YouTube wanted to kick you off, that's like, okay, and then you should just be able to go to the next place and set up camp, and everyone can watch you. I mean, that's how this should work. There shouldn't be one fucking company that controls everything. It's insane. Yeah, it's just the Amazon of the internet, of the video medium. It's mind-boggling that anybody would think in a democracy it would be a good idea to allow this. Like, what the fuck? So Obama's a good president, but he allowed this to happen? Yeah. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. And the Clintons allowed this to happen. And they just want to live in this delusion that only Republicans do bad things. They just want to live in this and when you point out how Democrats do awful things, they go, yeah, but Trump was bad. Like, okay, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like literally when they're going to come for you.
Yeah.
You're going to get censored in some way. And what are you going to do? When they get censored by the Democrats and these big tech companies that give a lot of money to the Democrats, they're so dumb and propagandized. They will still, they will find a way to, the Republicans did it. Like, okay, man. Like,
it's like living in, this is really like living in a country with two cults. Like, it's just,
yes. There's two crazy cults. There's the MAGA cults, and then there's the vote any blue will do cults, and they're insane. They're too crazy, and we're just stuck in the middle going, what, you guys are both nuts.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And if you bring up reality, they just scream at you. I mean, when you try to talk to liberals about any of this stuff, they get mad at you for pointing out the truth. And you're just like, okay, I'm just so exhausted by everything you guys are.
Yeah. Yes. It's nuts. Well, dude, I got to run, but thanks for coming on the show. And
I get paid, right?
Yeah. Reach out to YouTube. They're going to cut you a check real quick. They're just handing out money over there. So yeah, they'll square you up. Just talk to their human resources. They'll get you straight. Right, yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks.
All right, Dave Anthony, check out the dollop, everybody. Speaking of a cult, man, is that show fucked up. You guys are a crazy cult, and you need to be censored so much.
Oh yeah.
All right, Dave. Good seeing you, man.
All right, see you, man. Good luck.
Later. Dave Anthony, everybody. All right, I got to jump on Katie Halper's show. Let me read a couple of these Venmos and super chats or tips, Rockfin tips. Thomas Mark, shave your knuckles for justice. Donation got your back. Thank you so much, Thomas. Ian Moore just registered as a People's Party in California. Right on. That's how you do it. We need more independent like you, Graham. Thanks for crypto tips. Stanley, Colorado. Boom. Thank you. All right. That's all of them. Then let's read the Rockfin and I'll jump on over there. Tom Tron Carter, one for Dave Anthony, one for Katie Halper, 8 more for you. Fuck the oligarchs. Thank you so much. Defund the empire. Fuck a Google. Defund the empire. Thank you so much. All right. I'm jumping over to Katie's show. That's tonight's show, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, everybody on the Rockfin. I appreciate the tips. I appreciate the Venmos. Please sign up for Rockfin. Sign up for Rockfin. It's free to sign up. The premium level is only $10 a month, and the $10 gets you everybody's premium content on Rockfin. Everyone that's just been hit. Status Coup, Nico House, Convo Couch, and then all the other people that are on it. Kim Iverson, Jimmy Dore, Lee Camp, Dave Anthony is going to be posting stuff. Ron Placone, Richard Medhurst, Jason Burmis. They're all over there. Check it out. Thank you so much, citizens of Gotham. Boom. And then Ron Placone and we're doing government secrets tomorrow at 3:00 Pacific time. I will also be on Jordan Sheridan's Status Coup tomorrow at, I don't know, one of the times, 7, somewhere. I'll be on Status Coup tomorrow. And then Ron Placone and I are doing the Zoom comedy show at 7:00 Pacific time. Busy day tomorrow. Have a great day. Shave your knuckles for justice. Thanks, everybody. Thank you to Kate, our moderator. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to Dr. Dooley for being on the show and Dave Anthony. Really appreciate everybody in the chat having discussions, debates. You can debate all you want. Just be polite and be kind. You can disagree. That's fine, but you can't be rude. Can't be mean. You can't say the same thing 50, posting 50. Just if you don't agree, you got to just stop, agree to disagree, and move on. Just be cool. What exchange is the Rockfin token on? It is the Ray token. It is available on the Ether exchange. If you go to rockfin.com, you'll see a button that shows you how to buy Ray. So you're like investing in Rockfin, basically. It's trading about $4. I know people that it's going to keep going up, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, because everyone's jumping over there. So buy some Ray. Thanks for watching, everybody. See, I'll be joining Halper momentarily. Shave your knuckles for justice.